Welcome back to my tutorial on PyMol. So this time we're going to concern on how to make pretty pictures for publication. Now, as you may see in this tutorial, my background, instead of being white, I have it black instead, so it more represent of the background that you might have in the default mode of PyMol. So we're going to be looking at how we're going to make the background white, because on the paper, we usually publish in white piece of paper. So it's much easier for you to see what the color is going to be like when you make it white. So you're gonna now go to setting, display, and you can have background and you can have it as white, which will then give you a white background. Now you can see that in the case that your helix is not very shiny, you can also set some helix to be shiny by having a spectacular reflection, which means that it will now starting to glow and reflects on the light. So you can see here that my helix is now shiny. I can have the light become in two-side so that it display how the lighting is going to reflect on my structure when I render it. I would also like to smooth some line or edges of my structure, and I could also change the view to orthoscopic view. Now, to change the view to orthoscopic view, what it means is that your structure is now very three-dimensional. So some bit is going towards you at the moment, and making orthoscopic means that you are not, so this time you're rotating things towards you, but now you're going to be rotating it as an object, or away from you in a plane of a piece of paper. So you have it as orthoscopic view, and you can see that it's now rotating in its own plane, which is a more canonical way of drawing molecular structure. Now, the other very interesting thing about PyMol is that if you would like to highlight certain part of a structure, in this case, I would like to zoom in and highlight my selectivity filter region of an ion channel. So here I can also click S, which is to show the sequence. So S is for sequence down here. So S up here is show, S down here is sequence, and I can pop the sequence up to use, and I can go around here and I can highlight my sequence of interest, TIGYG, which is selectivity filter, and I can show them as sticks. And I have, because this protein is tetramer, so I would have 4 of these. But what I'm interested in particular for this work is that I would like to show just these one region here. Now, how am I going to do that when I have a very large alpha helix looking very noisy in my background, right? What I can do is I can go to setting, transparency, cartoon, and I can set my cartoon transparency to be a bit less, to be a bit lower, which then allows the stick to stand out a little bit more. You can also play around with the stick diameter by a command called set sticks radius, let's say 0.4. This will make my stick look a bit thicker, which then kind of help me to, if I would like to make this region really pretty, I can see them more than just, a thin stick, but a thicker stick. So I can have it a better highlight in that sense. Of course, if I start using this sequence tab, I can almost play around with it up in a lot of ways. So I can shade it and give it some color. So I can now have it in yellow or something. So it stands out from the rest of my molecular structure. Now, in order to take from this to a structural image, right? What I have is 2 commands on the top right corner that says draw/ray. So draw is a command which is very cheap. So I can just click draw, let's say 1000, 1000, which means I would draw this in a grid of 1000 to 1000 size, and I can get the structure almost immediately. So I can draw the structure as what I've seen on the PyMol interface. The other way that I could do this is to use the mode ray. Now, ray trace is a very slow process because it really does do the lighting and shading of the structure. Now, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try and ray trace it to 2000, which is what I tend to do when I do a paper. Now, this might take longer than we expect, so feel free to skip for the next minutes or so to wait for the ray trace to complete. Actually, to make my life easier, I will just ray trace this part of the molecule and not any of the cartoon. So if I select all of these, so this is my cell, yep, I can actually remove the rest of the structure. So I will remove the protein. So I would say pol and not cell. So I would remove the rest of the molecule. So protein is a polymer. So remove polymer and not the selection of my interest. If I click enter, I will just have this little bit of selectivity filter left. And what I can kind of do is I can ray trace this to 2000 and 2000, and we should be able to see something very quickly. So here I ray trace my molecule to 2000, and you can see that I got a really nice shading around it, somewhat a little bit more beautiful than my previous structure. You can see here as well that if I change the amount of light hitting by command direct, so I can have the direct to 0.2, direct to 0.2, oh, set direct, sorry, set direct to 0.2. I can have it quite dark. And if I ray trace it, you can see that the edge of the shade is much more clearly. So you can play with these lighting to give some effects on the structure of your interest. So in this session, I've been walking you through different mode of playing with figures in PyMol. At the end of the day, it's your choice of your art style, but there are several options that you can make it really pretty. And it also depends on the choice of your supervisor and yourself to think about which color does make the molecule stands out the most. Thank you very much.